Going back to the plan, you had the handcuffs and the duct tape.
Yeah, so what I was going to do is I was going to, like I said, yank him in there, restrain him, and then, after the sex, it would turn kind of violent. I'd start kind of torturing him a little and stuff like that.
How would you torture him?
Sticking large objects in their anus, causing them pain that way. The torture was kind of a late addition, because at first I wanted the body to be pretty much unharmed. Because what I was going to do after that then was, while they were still alive and gagged, I was going to drape them over the bathtub and cut off their head. And then hang them there and let the blood all drain out, good and drained out. And I was going to keep the body around for a couple of days. I was going to set the head on my desk so it could watch me. And, keep the corpse in my bed, sleeping with it, having sex with it for a day or two. And then I was going to start butchering them and cooking them. And hacksaw to cut open the head to get to the brain, because I wanted to eat the brain and the heart and some of the organs. I had pretty much planned all along to probably get a kid, just mainly because they'd be easier to grab and easier to get rid of afterwards, smaller, and put up less of a fight. But
did you find her attractive?
Not really. No, she was kind of. Well, I don't know. She just had she was almost bald. She had really thin hair, really thinning hair, and she was a little chubby, and just kind of wasn't my type, basically.
Now, when did you come up with Wednesday would be the day?
Because of what I really wanted to do, I had kind of planned it for that day, but I'd been planning it for every day for a month, pretty much. On the first time she came home, before she went and changed clothes, she stopped. She saw me stand there, and she was just like, "Oh, this is horrible." I came home from school and realized I'd forgot my house keys at home and had to go back and get them. And she was just complaining about how hot she was. And anyway, she came downstairs and was still, she's like, "Oh, there's nothing when it's this hot, nothing good like a good, glass of ice milk." And she, kind of chatted for a minute and then asked to come inside and see my rat again. And she just sat there on the floor looking at my rat, and I just kind of struggled with myself the whole time she was in there. And
was a struggle between right and wrong?
Yeah, or kind of, both that and, not wanting to get caught. But yeah, it was partly because, I can't do this, I don't want to do it, but then, I want to do this. And
there's a little bit of fear, hey, if I do this, I might get caught.
Yeah, that was a large part of it too, but I was like, I better just knock her out, and, then restrain her while she's unconscious. And finally, I was just, look, either do it or tell her to get the hell out of the apartment, and finally I did it. And, as soon as I hit her.
What did she say when you hit her?
That's something that's, haunted me ever since it happened. She started yelling, "I'm sorry," which, I'm just like, what is she sorry for? She didn't do anything wrong. It's me, I'm the one that should be sorry. Yeah, she, like I said, she jumped, she was yelling, "God, I'm sorry," and, "Let me go, I won't tell." And, after I hit her a couple times, I finally just had to, jump up and grab her, and I couldn't believe how strong she was. I could barely hold her down. We flopped around. I've got pretty bad carpet burns on my knees from it. We struggled. It took me probably 15, 20 minutes to kill her. Then finally, when I was pretty sure she was dead again, I jumped up and grabbed the duct tape and put it over her mouth and nose, because I was getting tired. My arms were getting sore from clamping down on her. And so I was going to drag her in there to the living room, but she, big for her age, paper said she's 110 pounds, and I was having a hard time, flopping her over and rolling her around and dragging her around. And so I was like, well, it's a lot closer, and I don't want, she's already been dead maybe 10, 15 minutes, and so I don't want the blood to get all coagulated, so I'm just going to go ahead and drag her into the tub and behead her and then have sex with her body.
So You had trouble sawing her head off.
Yeah, that's what, I was trying to remember where I was. Yeah, I went, got, I guess, to her spine, and I just sawed and could not get it at last. And I was pretty much exhausted by then, and I decided that, so I went to try to get rid of the body, but it was still bleeding too much, and stomach contents were pouring out of the neck, and so I was like, well, I'm going to let it sit here for a few hours and coagulate some more, so maybe I can move it without it bleeding everywhere so much. So I just kind of went about my business with this. I closed the door because, the bathroom, because, like I said, I was sick, sick to my stomach that I'm doing this. I didn't even want to, see the corpse. And, I just sat there at the computer for a couple hours, talking to her. I wasn't talking much because, I was. Well, then about that same time, I was talking to her, but I was also occasionally stepping outside, helping them look for the girl. And then, like I said, I was stepping out there occasionally, acting, like I was keeping a watch for her in case she came back while Dad was gone, and talking to the manager and all that and stuff. And, I hope they find her soon. It's horrible. Just kind of setting up and making myself look concerned. And then, I went inside and finally finished cleaning up the body.
It started at about the age of 1. When I was the punisher, I was the one who decided punishment over the children. I was the one who spanked the children. I was the one who punished the children. And if I seen the children doing anything wrong, even bickering and arguing amongst themselves, I would whip them and tell them, just kids playing. I would tell myself, well, she's not going to be like that. She is going to be the perfect mate. And I told myself that. And I didn't molest her then.
The perfect mate.
The perfect
So
mate. I was grooming her to fit me. To fit me.
And at what age?
I started at about a year. I started grooming her, whooping her, and telling her this, to do this, not do that. Then when I molested her at 18 months old. And I thought to myself, I said, well, this is going to be easy. This is going to be easy. I'm going to have my own child, my own stepdaughter, which is really not blood related to me. And I'm telling myself these things, it's not blood related to me. When she grows up to be 14, 15 years old, I will have the perfect sexual mate for sexual purposes. Anything else didn't matter. It was sex. That was it. I didn't care about, really, honestly, I didn't love the child. I wanted the child for my own purposes. I was the one potty training her. Okay? My wife let me potty train her. I potty trained her. And at the first when I was potty training her, I gave her a break. Every now and then she could use the bathroom in her pants. But I was setting her on that stool for sometimes hours at a time, telling her to use the bathroom there. She started doing it. She started using the potty, and then all of a sudden I've been doing this for about 3-4 months, and she got good at it, and then all of a sudden she would use the bathroom in her pants, and I would tear her hide up. I would actually put bruises on her butt by spanking her by using the bathroom in her pants.
How'd you get a little kid to sit on the potty for hours? That's an awful long time.
Yell and scream, tell her you're going to use that potty, and you ain't going to get off that potty till you use that potty. Have you used the potty yet? No. You're going to sit there until you use it. And
how would you justify it in your head?
How would I justify it in my head? She's going to do what I want her to do, and that's it. She's going to use the bathroom. She's going to, let's say that I told her that Daddy loves her, and Daddy's going to take care of her, and Daddy's going to give her anything she wants as long as she does what Daddy tells her. I got married at 19, and I kind of refrained refrained from, or tried to refrain from sexually acting out with any other ladies besides her, because I knew that AIDS was coming out and I knew that diseases were very frequent. And I started thinking to myself that if I stick with this one girl and just groom her, or one woman, I would groom her and get her to do what I wanted her to do. And eventually she did. She done what I asked her to do. It was no problem. It was a little at a time, and I done it. And I manipulated her and coerced her. Manipulation, coercion, violent behaviors, striking her, get her so drunk she'd pass out, and I'd do what I want to with her. I'd force myself upon her when she was passed out and did what I pleased. And sexual behavior got real out of whack. Yeah, I made her force objects into her vagina. I made her, forced her into watching pornographic material and stating that I wanted to do that certain thing to her. I wanted to have sex with her constantly. This was every day, 3 or 4 times. I would want it as many times in the day as I could get it. And I have got it up to 6 times in one day. And still I did not have enough. I wanted more. It was like a fix. I wanted it. And I did anything I could to get it.
And how many victims did you have total?
I have a total of 24 now. And I'm looking to see if I have any more.
And were these, you said these were all kids except 2?
No. Oh, yeah, well, they were under the age of 18. Most of my victims were the age of 11 to 16.
And how did you get control of them? Was it through force and control and violence?
It was manipulate. No, it wasn't violence. It was more like manipulation. It was coercion. It was like, I'll buy you this, I'll give you that, and treating them like a person, but they were just objects. They were just objects. I was doing anything in my power to get them to give sex up, to give it up. And that's what I used to tell them. I said, give it up, after I would have done, say, groomed them up. And then and they would comply. I would buy them beer, get them drunk, get them high, get them, any way that I could manipulate a woman or a girl, a child into having sex, I would do it. The best way to fool people is to help them, is to ask what they want, ask what they need. Do they need any help doing anything? Do they need any money, or do they need their car fixed? Do they need the grass cut? Do they need their children looked out for? Do they need a job? Do they need anything to get them to think that I am a decent person and want to help? Trust me, I will help. And overall, that was a flat-out lie.
Why do you think makes people so trusting?
What do you mean, as far as trusting?
Trusting you.
Trusting me? Because to trust me, I thought that I could be trusted to a certain extent. But behind their back, no. I would take things from them, steal from them, scope out things that I could steal, just see what I could get out of somebody, just get what I wanted. That's what I wanted. I see something I want. I was looking out for number one, for me. I didn't have any empathy for anybody else because it seemed to me nobody had any empathy for me. I wasn't going to give anybody any empathy who didn't give it to me. And that was it. That was bottom line. You don't. I didn't have people cry for me or tell me, ask me if I needed anything. Then I wouldn't use any empathy. I would fake it. Now, fake empathy, like saying I know how you feel. I've been in that situation before. I've done that, and it didn't turn out all that hot. And I would fake it, but there wasn't no empathy there. That was just a show. That was just to tell. That was just to get the person to say, well, hey, he seemed like he's pretty good fellow. And that was manipulation all the way.